so I am back at the workhouse today, and today's task is to start stripping the paint off of this antique door and trim. Now, the door trim is different than the rest of the trim in the house, so I don't know really what's underneath here, but I'm gonna have a stained door. I don't want to have painted trim. So the trim in the room is gonna get stripped, but I wanted to start with this door trim to see what's underneath it, and then start it on the door and the hardware. Let me just show you up close what these doors look like, unpainted in their natural beauty. So the opposite side of the door, the interior of the attic, has not been painted. So if this was at the right height, the easy solution would be to just flip the door, but it's not gonna work. I sure wish it would. So, nice, beautiful wood all the way on the inside, opening up into the attic. This is gonna need a weather strip. This is a cold attic. There's roof vents, so that'll get addressed in this situation also, but this is giving me a chance to look at what's going on under all these layers of paint. Now, I'm the guilty person of doing this painting, but it was already painted before me. Now, I can't even guess how many layers. Yeah, there's a white paint underneath this. It's so thick, it's just peeling off. So for today, I'm using the Clean Strip Premium Stripper. Now, this isn't super smelly, but it's smelly enough. So this is a big house with plenty of draft through the windows, so I'm not having to worry about that too much. But I am gonna wear gloves while I do it. So you can use like your kitchen gloves, and they recommend using a can, a metal container. So I've got an empty can here that I put a little bit of this in. It is brushable. They have some that are thicker, that are paste-like. This was about $21 a can. A different brand that I hadn't used before was 23, 24. But they say with this to brush it on in one direction, not back and forth. So we're gonna go ahead and get this applied. And I'm doing this before I'm doing the floors, just to make sure that after I'm done with the floors, I'm not having to drop cloth everything. And of course, before I paint the walls. Now this requires a 15-minute set time. So I've already gone ahead and treated the other two areas of the door trim. And I am stoked to finally be working on this. So I'm just gonna show you up close what this is looking like already. And then this has been almost 15 minutes. It is just releasing right from the wood. So hopefully it will come off pretty easy. Now the house doesn't have heat. It's probably 60 degrees downstairs and maybe 50 up here. Off probably 2 layers of paint. Now this is latex paint. This says 15 minutes for a layer of latex paint, up to 45 minutes for oil-based paint. So if I let it sit longer, I'm finding that it's drying out. So I went ahead and scraped this off as soon as I went around the outside edges here, because this was drying out, and my first peel on this side didn't do as well, waiting closer 15 minutes on the long end, and this, 10 minutes or so, maybe even 5. Well, I don't know if it's because the house is cold or not, but it was drying out at this cooler temperature. So this is it. A couple layers of paint. I'm down to a pink layer. It looks like there's another white layer up underneath it. And I'm using a plastic putty knife or scraper because I didn't want to use metal and have it scrape. If I use metal, it might go down a little deeper. I would recommend having several of these on hand for the couple dollars that they cost, because you could end up snapping it trying to push too hard. So we're just gonna add another layer and see what happens. Okay, so here's what I've learned so far. It works better on the old wood than on the new wood. The door trim is newer, and I know that because of the style is different. Instead of just square pieces, this is miter cut and added, I don't know when, but it's just a simple pine, and I can see bare wood here. This was 3 coats of stripper, and I've been at this for a while. I put on a free YouTube movie that was, like an hour and a half, and I just worked my way around the frame alone. That was a long time and slow going. I found I did do quite a bit better with the metal floor scraper that I have. It's angled and it's beveled. So I got a little bit deeper instead of just kind of 1 or 2 layers at a time. This doesn't have as much a bevel. So if you're going to use the metal, use caution that you don't gouge your wood, because that's not going to look nice either. I started in on the door 20 minutes ago, and I got this far just from doing that. I found that it's best for me to let it sit for roughly 5 minutes. I put this whole section on, ran and grabbed a banana, went to the bathroom, came back and started scraping it off. So it's after 6 o'clock. It's time to quit for the day. He actually just got the furnace going, so maybe tomorrow with the house being warmer, it'll go a little bit better. But that took off in some areas 3 coats of paint when I was doing it here. So you can see I was gone a little too long, and I have the first layer of paint still, but up here on the top, I got right down to bare wood. So it's going pretty good. I don't know, for some reason, somebody hit this. Maybe it was something behind here or hitting it with a hammer. So it might need some sanding and whatever at the end, but I'm gonna try. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried, I think they call it STP or something like that. But this door has the same spots right here. And it looks like that they've used wood filler on it. But I'm wondering about stripping the bare wood with that product and then recoating it with something for a fresh coat to get rid of kind of the orange that these old woods always seem to have. It's got a little bit of crackle in the shellac, so I kind of like to get through that and just put a new coat of polyurethane on it, and maybe just have it be more of a neutral brown instead of this orange brown. But it's coming along good. I think it'll look real nice in the end. Well, I'm back at the door scraping another day, so you can see kind of how it's coming. We've had the starts of heat in the house, and it hasn't really made a difference as far as the speed of the setting or the drying out. But I just wanted to say, on the container it says work in a 3 foot by 3 foot area, which I'm obviously working in linear sections, so it's a little harder to see. But this lower part of the door on the edges, 3 coats of stripper, 1 coat of stripper here on the bottom panels. It's slow going, and you can see I still have some of the original purple on the last layer. So I don't know if I'm going to get down with just the stripper to the main part. I'm assuming I'm dealing with some of the oil-based paint in the lower layers, because you get down to this pink and it starts reacting a little bit differently, and then this cream layer is over the top of the pink. So it looks like
4 layers of paint maybe. I definitely could tell a difference in the doorknob of 2 different colors of white or cream colored. So it's definitely going to be more on the 45-minute end. I'm wondering, there's a trick that you can do with some whitening products for plastics, and the idea is that you put the stripper on and then you put saran wrap or plastic over it to keep it from drying out, and then you go back and strip it. So I may try that method, just pressing on some saran wrap or even a shower curtain might work, and see if this pink layer might kind of go through. I'm not sure if I'm dealing with 2 different shades of pink or if it's just the way that it's stripping. Yeah, it's slow. I basically am halfway through another YouTube movie as I'm working, and you know, it's been a good hour of doing this lower section, so I may end up just switching to the sander outside, but I'm gonna give it one more try over the purple areas just to get that off while I'm working. But the whole house smelled of the stripper, so as a precautionary, you know, you want to consider that in stripping. So I don't think I'm gonna go after the baseboards with the way, the length of time that this is taking, because I could have had this whole room painted and trimmed out with a new color versus stripping this door over part of yesterday's workday and today's workday, because this is all I'm addressing today. It's a time thief.
So as you know, I have been working on this door for an eternity. So let me tell you, since I started doing this new trick of removing old paint with oven cleaner came out. And this was my end result. It did not help anything. And now I have these discoloration marks from spraying the oven cleaner on here. It also kind of softened my wood, so I kind of got splinters in it. So I'm going to have to buff that out. During my process of doing this, I've also been working on the wood floors. Now it's been about a week and I've been using this Zep cleaner. This is actually janitorial industrial floor stripper to remove polishes and wax. It also dissolves varnish and paint. So earlier today, as I was starting this room, I'm going along the edges of the baseboard and removing any paint that was on the floor and varnish. Now this room had been a little girl's room. There's nail polish spills on the floor, and it got me thinking about the door. So this area here is my next process of going through here, and the door is in my way. I need to get it hung back up. So I'm gonna work on it some more with my floor cleaner. So I am at my wit's end with this door. I had to hang it and close the attic up for the winter. I'm having a nice warm day today and I wanted to try one more thing on it. Basically, I've gotten down to this far, and these remnants are really hard to get off, and you can see I start getting pitting and gouging trying to get any further. So I've tried like a wire brush with the paint remover. I'm trying the floor stripper. It worked through that 100-year-old varnish and newer varnish, so why not give it a try? So I brought it out here in the sun. It's warmer out here than it is in the house today, so I'm going to take advantage of that. So I've got this sitting, and so far I've just put it on with a scrub brush, an old paintbrush, and the good thing is I had varnish on this brush also, and went ahead and softened up my brush at the same time. So I'm just putting it on each panel, full strength, straight from the bottle, and letting it sit for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going back with a nylon brush, and I'm rubbing that in to let it penetrate. And then, if it dries out, I'll add a little bit more and do some more scrubbing. I've got a fine copper brush, but like I said, I don't want to leave a bunch of brush marks into it or scratch up the surface too much.
I had actually taken this right down with sand, a belt sander and an orbital sander, but I was having a little trouble with some areas like this where it was wanting to round off spots because the wood is so soft. It's real old pine, and the floors were the same way. So you got to know when to stop and call it good, but I can't hang this door back up with these bits of paint in here. It's just keep trying another solution and another solution. Like I said, I tried the paint stripper, I tried the oven cleaner. So we already have this, we might as well give it another shot. So I just have to share with you how it's going. I'm on my third panel. The second panel I had a little bit of a hard time because I have this crack in this panel, but it's come off really well. This little strip here is being real stubborn and hesitant, and I don't want to carve it out. What I'm doing is puddling it right up. And if you can see, I have a tarp over my door here, and I've got it set up on sawhorses. It's a bit windy, and it is actually starting to cool down a bit. It was about 56 today. It's, I don't know, maybe 52-ish, maybe 50 right now. But I really puddled that up on there, and I can show you, it acts just like a paint stripper. It really just softens right up. And because this was so many layers of paint, there was like a lavender color, a pink color. So I've got multiple varieties of paint. I've got latex and oil-based paint and probably lead-based paint, who knows. So doing this outside is very beneficial. Plus, I don't want to get any of this cleaner or stripper on my newly finished wood floor, so it was safest to do it out here. So this one got completely finished maybe a half an hour ago. This one I went over and kind of came back to it after working on this so that I could puddle it up a second time to get through there. But this scraper blade has a beveled edge. It's a 5-point multi paint stripping and scraping blade, so it works pretty good. I think I can get this off with sandpaper, and if I use a little bit of gel stain, that would help a lot in covering anything like this, because if you just put clear over this, they do tend to look that orange color, so it might be good to go ahead and give it a little bit of color. So I don't mind, just to show you, I'm going over the panel to make sure that I've gotten it. So you can see there's a lot of paint bits in that puddling. So it is coming along. And I've got a small wire brush. And you can see it's nice and gummed up. And I'm just using that real aggressively. A toothbrush is not going to do it. Get yourself some multi-packs of these scrub brushes if you're doing any doors and trims like this. But I just keep scrubbing, and I'm going with the grain. Don't go in circles. And just be real patient and take your time with it. But each panel is 15 minutes to a half an hour today. I mean, this has been going on for a year. I hate to say it, but I hung the door, moved down to the floors, kind of just got on with life. And I just was thinking about this floor stripper, and I thought I'm going to give it a try. It's one of the last things to do in that upstairs, and I'm working on the attic space, so this was kind of tied in with that. Fortunately, they only painted one side of the door, and the way the door opens, I couldn't just turn it around. And I've looked on Facebook for used doors, and it's the same situation. A lot of them are painted, so I know, you know, there are some very strong commercial grade chemicals that some of these shops can use, but just going with things that were available to me through big box stores, it's been a process. Makes you really think about, you know, a lot of people want to paint things white and give it a fresh look, but once it's gone, it's covered. Okay, everybody, I can say that I have finished this door. I have won the challenge. It was not easy and it took patience. I basically spent my afternoon saying I'm going to work on this door, and I had spent everywhere from 15 minutes on that first panel where I had done a lot of sanding to these other areas where it was a lot more built up. You see I've got a little bit of speckling of paint here that I still have to go after. Like I said, it's soft. I don't want to gouge it, so I'm going to let it dry and I'll do touch-ups on this. But I'd say that is a good wrap up to this video. It is stripped and it is ready to be worked on further. I want it to dry for a couple of days at a low temperature so that I don't get any problems with moisture on a high heat. It's going to sit in a room that's not heated, and I will stain it. If you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, follow along, and you'll be able to see like the room fully staged with the door in place in the future. I'm losing daylight pretty quick, so I'm gonna get this put away and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So just real quick to show you the room it's in, here's my finished door that is on the closet that was not needing to be stripped, and here's the door I just stripped. It's still finishing drying. We'll get back to that job in a couple of days.